Welcome back, everyone, to Pontos Fathom Hobbies. This is Season 1, Episode 2 of our OD&D series. Season 1, we're focusing on Chainmail Rules for Medieval Miniatures by Gary Gygax, Jeff Perrin. Got this. You can pick these up. You can actually still buy these. There's a PDF store online. If you just Google it, look up Chainmail by Gary Gygax. You can pay a couple bucks with the PDFs. They are the original ones. You can print and play these things. What we're going to do today is we've got the armies Zenithal primed, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to work through the army types. So if you take a look here at the Chainmail rules, we've got these different kind of units. So I'm going to come up with a historical scenario, and we're going to go with a historical 100 Years War scenario that I'll show you some prep work I've done for that. So I got some other campaign information printed, and then we'll do a little bit of painting on the miniatures, and I'll use that as a way to divide up the armies. Let's figure out how many units of each type of light, heavy foot, longbowmen, archers, maybe knights. Maybe we'll even put in some special hero kind of figures for the kings. Set up a scenario, and then we'll get into it. So let's go. Okay, so continuing our Chainmail setup. We got the Chainmail rules out here. Got a bag of dice. All kinds of dice here. What am I doing here with the miniatures? I'm trying to come up with a scenario for the first round. So I started some painting of these. I do want to get a little bit of color on these to distinguish from the armies. So I did a little printing out. I've got some Chainmail quick reference rules. And I decided to go with the sort of the 100 Years War, Battle of Agincourt, Henry V, Duke of Orleans, huge battle from the 100 Years War. We play a lot of Joan of Arc here. So then what I did is I put together a sort of for use with Chainmail rules, and I kind of came up with some deployment. So basically what I'm going to set up with French deployments of, the French are slightly going to outnumber the English, so I'm going to have 4 units of archers, 4 units of heavy infantry, 4 units of light infantry, and 2 units of knights. And for the English, I have 3 units of English longbowmen, 3 units of English heavy infantry, 3 units of English light infantry, and 1 unit of English knights. And I'll also sort of, I've came up with an initial, let's say like a battlefield plan. I'm going to deploy these. All right, so I've got that sorted. And then I'm going to, we know that there was a muddy field, so we can get some terrain effects. We'll figure that stuff out later. So I've got some terrain considerations. I also kind of went with the Chainmail rules here on the army value, so like a 250 to 300 point army. So he'll say here, forces to be pitted against each other can be drawn from a historical account, chosen by point value, or assigned by a third neutral party, worked out from the campaign situation. The balance between the forces is something best determined by experience. So it says playing ability and terrain must be taken into consideration. However, if example of better players to receive a 300-point army, it might be wise for his opponent to select 50 additional points worth of troops in order to balance the game. So in this case, the French are kind of outnumbering the English. So we're going to give the French about a 300-point army and the English about a 250-point army. And by that, I think that's how we'll start it out. We'll go with the 1 to 10 system. And now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get these minis sorted between. So I've got some bowman minis. These are just the cheapest little minis you can get, but I kind of want to get a little paint on them. I think it will be fun. So I'll get these bowmen set up for they'll represent both the longbowmen and the, I don't have that many of these bowmen. So let's see, if I look at my units, I want to have 4 units of archers. So got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Got 21 and that's 7. So I think our archers, we're going to have them in units of 3. right? Because then I can divide that by 7. I've got 21, yeah, so that'll work out. So there'll be 9 English miniatures, and there'll be 16 French archers. So 9 English longbowmen and 16 French miniatures. So I can paint those accordingly. So I'm going to sort of divvy these up that way. I'll throw some paint on these, and then we'll sort of get into the next round of the setup. I've also put in some potential. Yes, I just had the AI generate this image. I just said, give me a battle plan for this. This is pretty cool, right? Why not? So I've got the French deployment. I've got the English deployment. We've got knights involved as well. I'm going to figure out, maybe I'll use these as unit commanders. These kind of knight figures. These are kind of cool. This could be like Henry or something like that. We've got a bunch of those. We've got, these might be the knight units here, because these are kind of like knights in combat. They've got the knight helmet. They've got armored knights. We also have some armored knights just standing like this, so those maybe can be one or the other. We also have these guys here. These might be a heavy infantry because they've got that pole arm, and then we've got these guys can be a heavy infantry as well with the halberd. And then we've got shieldless infantry here. This might be the light infantry, but I might just switch out into using these as a light infantry too, just a shielded light infantry. So we'll see how I divvy them up. Let me kind of go through this. I'll fast forward through this. I'll get some paint on them, and I'll check back in with you guys. So that's where we are for the setup of this. Let's see. Maybe just also this. I got this from the 1979 July 79 Dragon magazine, "The Political and Military Effects of Agincourt in the 100 Years' War" by Steve Alvin. On the evening of St. Crispin's Day, October 25th, 1415, a small, starving, and sick English army, after winning an impressive victory over a numerically superior French army near the little village of Agincourt, 45 miles south of Calais, celebrated Mass. Henry V, King of England, led in commander of 6,000-man army, had every reason to be thankful that he had that morning pulled victory out of the jaws of defeat. Against all expectations, he, in a matter of hours, defeated the French and captured over 2,000 prisoners, including the Duke of Orleans and Bourbon, the Count of Richmond, and the French Marshal Boucicaut. So yeah, interesting. This will be a good read through to kind of cement us in the mood of the battle, and also like the way that in these older versions of Chainmail, it literally was played by adhering to a historical move. It says, as the men are scaled down in size, so is the field of combat. Therefore, a few inches on the tabletop represents marches of 10 times as much for small campaign goers. They move and they fight in miniature. The players order their formations about, just as medieval military commanders did. But the proof of the opponent's ability only comes in combat situations. Here, each figure will do as well as known capabilities foretell, with allowances for chance factors which affect every battle, such as throwing dice in miniature warfare. So we'll get that going. I also printed out this, like I said, this stats sheet. This is just to make it easier to, thanks to whoever printed this. I just found it in a Google search. It's just the tables from Chainmail printed in a reference guide, so we can use that as a reference guide. So yeah, let me get to some paint on these minis, and we'll jump into it. So last time we got these armies primed and chromed for their plate armor. Now I'm just going to break them out. Now that I've got the English versus the French kind of scenario set up, I'm just going to use red and blue to kind of indicate the two armies. I will paint some shields, put some details on some tunics, just hit them with a little bit of paint just to kind of make it easier to view from above who's on which army. I'll probably use the like the Templar shield, white shields with a red cross, and for the French I'll use a blue shield with maybe some yellow highlights. And I'm also going to call out like a leader figure. You can see that leader with the yellow plume for the French, and then I'll do an English one, the white plume and red for the English. Just make it kind of fun. And now that I've got them divided into the different army units, we're going to go through and put these out. So we've got English have got the longbowmen up front, heavy infantry, then light infantry in the back, and then the knights. And then the French have a lot more of their bowmen. They're not longbowmen, but they have more. They have double the amount of heavy infantry. They've got light infantry, and then they've got 2 units of knights. So the French are definitely outnumbering the English, but the longbowmen will have an advantage from the rules, and we'll kind of go into that next time. So do a quick fly over the battlefield. We've got the units set up. I will go and read through some of the scenarios. I'll work through how the scenario is going to work. Some things around terrain, initiative. I think I might skew the rules toward the longbowmen. I believe in Chainmail they treat the longbowmen differently from the normal bowmen. But yeah, we'll check it out. And with Chainmail also we can be flexible, so we'll give it a whirl. So yeah, looking forward to getting into round 1 of this. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Before you guys head out, we've got a bookstore link down in the description. You want to check out our bookstore. It's a sponsor for the channel. We've got the Cat 2 Journals out of Lovecraft's Providence. This is collecting the 6 volumes, including August Moldenhauer's 3-volume Cat 2 Journals out of Lovecraft's Providence and Giuseppe Balsamo's Disclosure from the Necronomicon fragment, including Necromancy of Nyarlathotep. Go check out the bookstore. Link in the description, and we will see you in the next round. So just go ahead and click through here to round 3. Talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.